Okay, hello, this is a tutorial for the 5 high expandable vault door in the latest Minecraft Wild Update. So in case you didn't see the last showcase video, this vault door goes a bit like this. And if we want to see it with some just regular schmegular blocks, then over here. So I did change it so that the sides are matched now. So as you can see on this one, the sides go out at different times, but on the new one they don't, which is good. It's very quick, all very neat and tidy. And the only problem is it uses slime at the top, so you do have to have some obsidian or furnaces. Something else you can't push at the top for the blocks. So the point is you can expand this kind of as far as you want sideways, but it'll get a bit difficult beyond a certain point, and that point is being 30 blocks wide. Beyond 30 blocks wide, it's you might be able to get away with a little bit more, but the point is it starts becoming very difficult to do all the redstone. So what resources do you need? And how much space do you need? So the first thing is, if you look at how this door works, you have these two outside blocks, and then these ones in the middle, right? And there's actually a restriction on what you can do with the ones in the middle. It has to be a multiple of 3. So as you can see on this one, we've got 6 blocks in total. And if you wanted to expand it, you'd have to do 9 blocks in the middle, or you'd have to shrink it to being 3. You can't have 4 or 5 or 2. It has to be a multiple of 3 for the blocks in the middle, and then you have these 2 extra blocks on the outside. So your door width needs to be 2, add 2, which is 4, plus some multiple of 3. So this one is 4, add 6, which is 10. And again, if you want to expand it, you'd have to do 9, which would mean it'll be 4 add 9, which is 13 blocks wide, and you go from there. So that's the caveat with this door, and the reason is that to get these top blocks down, we use some slime and honey blocks around the back, and these are pushed by a set of 3 pistons. So in order for this bit to work properly, you have to have a set of 3 pistons because it has to be pushed down 3 blocks. So that's why we've got that restriction. So for the tutorial, I'm going to be doing this wide, which means it is 4 blocks plus 9 in the middle, so that's the 13 block wide version. So we'll go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then you also need 5 blocks backwards for all the redstone. You also need 3 blocks on each side for the wall and a double extender. So we're going to have 3 extra blocks sticking out on each side. You're going to need 4 blocks underneath for the bit under the floor, all that redstone. And then our door is 5 high, so we're going to go 5 blocks up. So if you just need a reference of how tall that is, we'll just do this stack of blocks. So 5 blocks high. And then above that, we've got our ceiling. And we need an extra 3 blocks of space above our ceiling as well. So all in all, that's how much space you're going to need in all directions. So now we'll get into the resources. So resource wise, you're going to need 5 times the width of the door, plus 6 sticky pistons. So with my one, I had a 13 block wide door, so I'm gonna need 65 plus 6, which is 71 sticky pistons, which is a lot. Then we're also going to need some normal pistons. We're going to need the width of the door minus 4. From a 13 block wide door, I need 9 normal pistons. Next we've got target blocks, and we're going to need the width of the door plus 1 target blocks. So for my 13 block wide door, 14 of those. We're going to need 8 slabs. Now, you can actually need less target blocks and slabs depending on how wide your door is, but just as a general rule of thumb, this is the most you'll need. For observers, we need 3 times the door width plus 9. So for my 13 block door, 39, which is 3 times 13, plus 9, which is 48. For repeaters, you need 10 repeaters plus 2 times the width of the middle bit divided by 3, which is a very confusing way of saying it, but what it means is, for every set of 3 blocks you have in the middle, so the honey and the slime blocks, you're going to need 2 repeaters. So you see 2 repeaters on redstone. So for every set of 3 you've done in the middle, so 1, 2, 3, and then there's 1, 2, 3 here, you're going to need 2 of those repeaters. So that's, and then you have 10 more on top of that. So that's the repeaters. Now for slime and honey blocks, it depends on what order you do, because if I'd swapped the honey and the slime here, I'd need 6 slime and 3 honey blocks instead of 6 honey blocks and 3 slime. But the point is your middle, as I said, was a set of 3, and then another set of 3, etc. And every time you have to switch whether you're using honey or slime blocks so they don't slide against each other or stick to each other. So you're just going to have to work out based on how you've done it what honey blocks and what slime blocks you need. But you need them. And then I'm not counting the redstone. Redstone is easy to get. You should have a ton of it if you're building this. There's loads of redstone. One thing I did miss is there's actually a trapdoor, and this could also be a note block. But the point is, resources list I missed, you need a trapdoor or note block. Easy peasy. Okay, so for the pistons, we'll do the bottom first. And I'm going to color code whether the blocks are the sort of front, the second bit, or the middle bit. So as you can see, I've done the white, orange, and yellow. So I'll do that with the concrete. So every layer goes 1 block shorter on the sides. You go 1 block in on the sides because it's a vault door, so this sticks out 1 block further than this one, which sticks out 1 block further than this one. And what we do is we go underneath the floor, and under these orange blocks we just place, which again, you miss out the sides, they're 1 across. Just place some blocks with a 2 block gap, and that's just so you can place some sticky pistons aiming upwards, one on top of the other. Now in front of these for the floor, we're going to place some blocks on the bottom pistons, leaving a 1 block gap, and that's because we need sticky pistons to push in the floor. We miss a block on each side for these as well. So now we can remove these blocks. Underneath the sets of 2 pistons, we do target blocks like this. Then on the side with 1 set of pistons, we place blocks underneath all of them like this. Then we do redstone along those blocks, which will connect to the target blocks. We also do the same thing on the other side of the target blocks. So you end up with that. Now I'm looking at the door, I'm choosing my input to be on the left side. You'd obviously do it mirrored if you had your input on the right hand side. So to power all this stuff, we're going to do this pattern. So we do blocks like this. So under the first set of pistons, we do a repeater aiming at the redstone with a redstone at the side. Now we have 2 blocks to the side of that, and we do a repeater aiming sideways, and that's right click it once, so it's on 2 ticks of delay, and that's because it delays a repeater that it's aiming into. So this repeater is aiming forwards into this line of redstone, and you'll just do a block in front of that so that it will power this entire line of redstone through there and get delayed by this repeater. So power goes to this redstone here through a block, and then we also have an observer aiming into that block. And then under the 1 high set of pistons above the redstone, we do observers aiming up into all of those pistons like that. And then if we go around the other side above the redstone, we do observers again above every bit of redstone. Then we do another observer above those ones. All of these are aiming upwards. And then we need to put in our blocks from the floor, because those are powered to power pistons, which are here to push the blocks up to the middle. So that's why those observers aim there. And then they also power this block, which powers this piston when it's 1 block lower here, to pull the block back from there to there. So to get power under these sets of 2 pistons to this repeater, we actually destroy this block behind the observer and aim a block forward from it into that repeater. So some of the blocks are pushed up, so we'll put those back like so. And if you update this observer we just placed, the block should get split up like this. And actually I've just realised this repeater coming out of that observer is 2 ticks, not the first one, so you need to right click it once. So now if we update it, this should happen, and we'll put these orange blocks back. And then if we update it once more, then we get what we want, which is the blocks coming up like this. So they're in the right place of the vault, and then your middle blocks would be coming out here. So that's what the vault door would look like. And then if we update it again, those go back down. Okay, so for the side, I'm doing the left hand side first. It's actually the same on both sides, so it doesn't really matter. We just do 4 pistons aiming sideways. So every block except the top one on the wall gets pushed by these pistons. Then the third block up, which is here, is orange because it's in the middle. You can do any colour you want, but I just do it orange. And behind that block, we have a double extender, so 2 pistons aiming into it like that. So to update the bottom set of pistons, we do actually use a trapdoor like this. And then our input block is above that. Then diagonally above that, we have another block, and there's redstone on these. Then diagonally above that, we have a slab. and there's redstone on top of that. So the redstone goes up to there. Then diagonally to the side of this slab towards the pistons we have a redstone, and that aims into a target block, and that'll power both of these pistons. And then facing into the wall from that block we also have a block with redstone, and that's to power this piston of the double extender when it goes to here, to push the block out one more block to there where it's supposed to be. So this orange block will get pushed like that. Now going from the other side of the slab we have a block with a repeater. The repeater's on 2 ticks of delay, so right click it once, aims into a block, then a block above the repeater, and there's redstone on both those. Then there's a block in the back piston there. And then diagonally to the side of these there's a slab with a redstone on top of it. Then we do a block to the side with a redstone dust, and then we have 2 observers coming from that redstone dust like this into a block that will power the middle piston of double extender and this top piston from the top set. So I think this is probably one of the most overcomplicated things I've done on a build. Like, I'm pretty sure there's way simpler ways of doing this bit, but this is the way I ended up doing. So this is what I'm doing in tutorial. You could probably simplify this a lot if you just mucked about with the stuff. So if your door is made so that there's less than 15 blocks wide, so mine's 13, so that's less than 15, then you only have to do this bit on the left side. If it's longer than that, if it's like wider than 15, then you're also going to have to do this on the other side to power the top. But the point is we're getting power to the top from this side. So what we do is from that slab we do another slab, and then we go diagonally up again and do another slab. And I think for context I'm just going to also put in the wall blocks, which would be here. So that's where you know where you're at, like that. And now we'll do the pistons for the top. So the layout of blocks is the front blocks are obviously going to come down to here. So they're going to push in. So we just need one set of sticky pistons above them. Then on the next set of blocks we're going to have these orange ones in the middle, and we miss each side. And then for the next set of blocks they're going to be the middle ones, which are these yellow ones, and again we go one block further in. So this one's 2 blocks away from the wall, this one is 1 block away, this one goes to the walls. So firstly we'll do the top ones, which are just sticky pistons above all of them, aiming downwards. Now for the orange blocks, it's different for the 2 at the very sides. So the 2 at the very sides, we just do a double extender aiming down above it. So 2 pistons aiming down like so, and we do the same on the other edge like this. Now for the middle ones, we'll destroy these middle blocks for now, but for these orange blocks here, we actually do normal pistons in between the double extenders, and they're 1 block up, aiming like this. And that's because these orange blocks actually get pulled up 1 block further, so they have to be pushed down again to be flush with the ceiling. I mean, they don't have to be, but it just looks nice, so I did that. So they'll go up to here, and then these normal pistons push them back down to there. So finally the yellow blocks are the problem ones with the slime and everything. So I'll do 3 honey blocks, 3 slime blocks, and then 3 honey blocks like that. And then above those, we just do sticky pistons aiming down above all of them. Now I know I haven't done the other side yet, but I will after a bit. I'll do it after the top, so I've only done the one side for now. But we'll get to that. So we've got our sticky pistons and pistons like this. The only ones that are normal pistons are these ones in the middle, except for the double extenders at the edge, and everything else is sticky. So first thing we're going to do for the circuit is the blocks around the sticky blocks need to be obsidian. So not the orange blocks because they're going to get pushed down by it, but the other blocks around it in the ceiling need to be something that can't be pushed, like obsidian or furnaces. So it's going to be like that, and then the rest of the ceiling can be whatever you want. And the first thing we're going to do is from our slabs we did earlier, we're going to do a block going up with another block next to it, and there's just redstone and a repeater. That then aims into a block. And first we're going to do redstone going from that block all the way to the end, except we do another block to the side with another bit of redstone, and that's to stop the redstone aiming at this piston because we don't want it to power it. And what it does is it powers this block below, and that's so that when this piston here gets pushed down to here, it gets powered. by the block. So that's why we're doing that. So that's why there's a block here with redstone on it in the ceiling. Then for the top piston, we do 3 blocks going across, then redstone on this block the repeater goes into, then another redstone and a repeater on 2 ticks, and then a redstone dust, and this will also power this piston here by some weird mechanics to push the ceiling block down and back up. And finally, when it goes back up, we have to power this middle piston here, which means we need to put another non-pushable block like obsidian, and then we do an observer aiming down into it. And then I forgot this on the resources again, but there's a trapdoor above this observer. Then we do an observer aiming into that trapdoor, and then there's a redstone next to this block the repeater aims into, and 2 more observers aiming upwards that power that. So to power the 3 pistons that push the honey blocks down, the first block is going to be raised up next to the honey, and same for this block the redstone goes to, next to it here. And then we have a repeater, and that's on 4 ticks. Then we do 2 redstone going across, we have a repeater on 2 ticks, and then we do a redstone on this obsidian next to that repeater. Then we also need a redstone next to that to stop it aiming at here, because otherwise things would set off in the wrong order. And then we just carry on this pattern, but we swap sides, so now it's the left side that's sticking up instead of the right side for the next set of slime blocks and honey blocks. So we do a repeater on 4 ticks on this raised up bit, then 2 ticks, and then the redstone here, like that. And on my one I have to extend it 3 blocks more, so we do a block next to this block with the redstone and the repeater sticking up, so whatever the last thing you just did was, you mirror it. So then we have 2 redstone going down like this, and then a repeater on 2 ticks, like that, and finally a redstone. Except this redstone is aiming here, which is a problem because it will power a piston there when it shouldn't be powered. So we also have to do something to make it aim to the side, and we put a target block there. Now if you just ended at this block, so you don't do 6 blocks in the middle, or you'd done 12, then you wouldn't have to do this, but because I've done this kind of odd multiple of 3, that is 9, then you have to do this. And that's because we need this redstone to aim away, so we just need a target block there. So now we need to do the double extender on this side, except we're actually going to power this from the side that comes here. To get power to the other side, we go to our input block, and then we go down a block and down another block, and then we just go across like this. If your bottom bit is more than 15 blocks wide, you're going to have to repeat this green bit with the repeaters on the other side, and the observers and the trapdoor under the block to power those observers. And that's because the redstone won't reach more than 15 blocks to the side, so if you had some more here, you'd have to power it from this side. And that means that you just need to repeat this green stuff on the other side. But my one isn't longer than 15 blocks, so I don't have to worry about that. So we're just going to have redstone along all this blue stuff. And all you have to know is wherever your input goes to, so say I have a repeater aiming here as my input, I need to make sure that the redstone gets far enough up here, so I need to be able to power this redstone that aims into the wall. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks the input block, and then that'll be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If that gets longer than 15, I'm going to need a repeater. So I'm actually planning on doing my input here somewhere, so I'll do my repeater there. And then if we go to the other side, then at the end of the observers, I'll probably need another repeater. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's fine. Now, one thing that's important, just make sure the delay is the same on both sides. So I've got 1 repeater here of delay, and on this side, I've got 1 repeater of delay going to that side as well to power it. And that's because if I power things from both sides, like I said with the green bit, I need to make sure they go off at the same time. So that's why we need to make sure the repeater delay on both sides is the same. So if I had to add another set of repeaters because I'm a mad lad and I made the door way too long, then I'd have to make this 2 ticks, or I'd have to add another repeater. So for the input, you get these sets of 2 observers, and you go to where the bottom ones are, you go 4 blocks to the side, and that's where your input block is for the other side. So we'll just do our blocks going there like this, with the redstone on top. Then there's a block diagonally above that one, then there's a slab diagonally above that. So it goes like this in a zigzag. The right side, we have this repeater on 2 ticks. On the other side, we go 1 block up. There's a redstone aiming into a target block, and then we do a block under the double extender with redstone aiming into the wall to power it. Then from the repeater, we go 1 block above the repeater, redstone on both of those into a block, to power this bottom, to power this back piston here. Then to power the middle one and these ones, we put a block above it and we go diagonally back from this tower from the repeater here and place a slab with a redstone dust, then a block and a redstone dust, and observers going across like this, aiming into this block, into this piston. Then we continue this tower going upwards with slabs. And I'll just fill in the wall so it's easier to see what we're doing, so that'll be like this. And then we just repeat the same circuit from the other side, so we do redstone, a repeater. Now, if your middle blocks here have gone so that the redstone is more than 15, so that means that this redstone here, which is the last one in the chain from all the way over here, which is that one, that's the start of it, that redstone is where this repeater powers. If that goes more than 15 blocks, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so I don't have to. But if that was more than 15 blocks, you'd have to power it from this side as well. So you just put redstone here so that that repeater also powers this side. And again, that's why you need to make sure this repeater goes off at the same time so that all this redstone powers at the right time. So if you've gone more than 15 blocks, place this extra redstone here so it'll still power everything. If not, then you don't need it. Maybe just pull it there for completeness in case you don't realise how long it is. But I can leave it out, so I'll do the redstone going to side of the block with the repeater, and then we need a block aimed to side with our redstone dust, and that's so that this redstone doesn't power this piston when we don't want it to. Above this redstone we do some blocks, then we do redstone, redstone, repeater on 2 ticks, and redstone. We also need to power the middle block on the last bit, so we do an obsidian, then we go 2 blocks above that. Then we need to aim an observer down into that, so I'm going to have to temporarily destroy this target block, I think. So we'll destroy that, observer aiming down, put the target block back. Above this observer we have a trapdoor, then we have an observer aiming into that trapdoor from the back, and then we are actually going to have to put this redstone here because we need to do 2 observers aiming up like this. Now we could also delete that and do the bottom one aiming sideways, but seeing as I said you need that anyway, may as well do it like that. We'll just make sure all the blocks are in the right place, so this one obviously isn't. And also I left the bottom ones up instead of down, so we'll have to destroy those and put them back in place to make sure everything is working fine. Okay. And then the last thing on the top is powering the normal pistons to push the block down, and also powering the sticky pistons at the front because we need them to push the blocks down and back up, and we haven't got anything powering them yet. So how we actually do that is you just go above one of the 4 tick repeaters, get an observer aiming up, then do 2 aiming across, and then we just do a line of blocks and we stop before these double extenders. So you just do blocks above the pistons except for the last 2 here, and then you just place redstone along all of those, and because of weird mechanics it will power these pistons as well, and it will also power all of these that we need to push the orange blocks back down. So very weird build. The side bits are terrible, I probably could do them a lot better but I just wanted it to work. And the input is anywhere along this back line of redstone, so I'll actually fill in the floor as well. Now the floor needs to be made out of solid blocks, so above these observers these need to be solid blocks, so not glass, not slabs, not stairs, because otherwise they won't power the pistons properly. So place all those blocks in, and I'll just do a lever to test it, pull it on the bottom blocks, and there we go, it's all come down in the right place. So your floor would obviously be here, and your wall would cover up these pistons, so it's like this, and it goes up. Now, oh, this should be orange. The most headaches you're probably going to have with this yellow middle bit, I can't help you, good luck. And then if we turn it off again, there we go, everything's gone away all nice and neat, and we've got our door. Alright, hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It took way too long to make, and I'll see you next time. I've been Night and Night, adios.